Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be teaching us how to make this top. It's a dress like an or say a top you can rock with a jean or a normal pant. So let's get started. So like I always say, I always like to draft on paper so that you can see all the markings clearly. Okay, so it's a very simple tutorial. So this is my shoulder line. Okay, then I have my shoulder to chest line, so which is about 9 inches. You can do between 8 and 9 depending on your size. Then I have shoulder to bust point, shoulder to the waistline, which is about 17 inches, shoulder to the hip line 24, and shoulder to wherever you want the top to stop. Okay, so I'm doing it like almost a floor length, right? Then on the shoulder and chest line, I've marked half of my across back measurement on both lines, and I do a straight line. On the chest line, I'm marking quarter of my bust plus 1 inch for a side seam allowance. Okay, then on the waistline, I'm marking quarter of my waist plus 1 inch for that and 1 inch for side seam allowance. If you don't want to, you can remove the that. Okay, it's not compulsory. Then on the hip line, I'm marking quarter of my hip plus 1 inch for a side seam allowance. Okay, now to the hemline. Okay, the dress or the top is more like an A line sort of. So the first thing I will mark on the hemline now is I'll mark quarter of my hip first. Okay, whatever you are doing must be in proportion to your hip. So quarter of my hip first, then you can add as much as 6 inches extra or 7 inches, whatever, depending on how much you want the dress to like flare out. So you mark an extra 1 inch for a side seam allowance, so you can see that. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and link all the points together. Now mind you, you can draft this directly on fabric. It's a free dress, okay, but it's just for tutorial sake so that everybody can see what I'm doing. That's why I'm marking it on my paper. You could actually do this directly on your fabric. So I'm just linking all the points together like so. Then I'll use a long ruler to link the hip line to the hemline. Okay, don't try to use your hand to draw a line. Please use the right tools. So I'm using a long ruler to do that like so. Then I'm also linking the original measurement. Next, I'm going to use my curved ruler to like create like sort of a curve so that the hemline doesn't have this very straight or flat look. So that's it. So I'll just quickly cut out the excess paper that I don't need. I'll cut it out, then we'll quickly work on the neckline. So for the neckline, it's pretty simple, just something wide enough for your head to pass through. So I'll just mark say 4 inch by 4 inch. Okay, 4 inch by 4 inch. Then I'll draw my neckline now. So I think I'll prefer to use my French curve to draw the neckline. It's going to be more defined. So I'll just draw my neckline like this, but I'm not really comfortable with the shape of the neckline. So I will square out first, and then I'll place my curve again. I'll square out like this. You see that? So I'll just draw my curve again. So that's one thing for neckline. If you're not comfortable with the shape of the neckline, I just square out, and then I'll come down my 1 inch from my shoulder line, and then I'll link it to the tip of my neckline like so. And I'll also use my French curve to draw my armhole. So I'll just find the midpoint there, coming by 3/4 of an inch, and then I'll use my armhole curve to draw the shape of my armhole like this. So the pattern is pretty simple. I'll just cut this out, then I'll still use this to cut out the back pattern. So for the back, all we just need is our zip allowance at the back. It's a free dress, not too much drama and all. So I'll just show us. Now this is my pattern already cut out on the fabric. It's quite a long one. There's no joining. Okay, so this is it here, and then we'll be using this to cut the back. Like I said, I'm just showing us the front that I already cut out of my fabric, and it's on fold. Don't forget that it's on fold. So and then you have to fold your fabric the other way around. Since Ankara length is 45 and this is about almost 16 inches, so you fold the fabric the other way around. I hope that made sense. Okay, so this is the front now. Then we're going to be cutting the facing to turn the slit. So what I've done is I've already folded the fabric under like so. So I'm going to mark the points where the slit will start from on the fabric. Okay, so the slit I wanted to start from somewhere around probably initially I wanted to start from the waistline, but I'm going to do 18 inches. Okay, so I'll just mark that point on the folded fabric under. Okay, so now this is for those that don't want to use lining. If you want to use a lining, you can use the facing to turn the slit. Yeah, so I'm just going to rule out like so. So that is where the slit will start from. Okay, but I'll still mark about 4 inches above up, because we cannot cut the fabric exactly where the slit will start from. You still need some allowance for the facing at the top, and then the length or the width should be about maybe 6 inches thereabout. So I just mark the same thing all the way down, 6 inches. Then I'll use my long ruler to connect both points together. So if you are wondering what am I cutting, I'm cutting out the facing that I'll use to turn the slit. Okay, I hope that made sense. So I'm just linking it together with my long ruler like so. So I'll just cut out. I'm going to cut out the facing now. So but if you want to line your own top, you can skip this part. Just keep this part, and then you still cut the same amount of fabric for your lining. Okay, but this tutorial is, we're using facing for this particular tutorial, because not everybody can afford to buy lining. Okay, and then the lining can make the dress a little bit bulky or something. Okay, so it depends on your choice. Anyway, it depends on your choice. So let me know in the comment section, would you be using lining to make yours or the facing? So this is the facing here, this is it here for the front. Okay, so you can see that. And yeah, we're also going to be cutting the back now. So for the back, you just leave 1 inch seam allowance on the folded fabric. Okay, and then you cut out, use the front to cut out the back. And then the neckline for the back is just about 1 inch, so the back neckline is actually higher than the front. And then I have my facing for the back neckline. Okay, because we're not using lining, so the facing is just a shorter version of the dress, that's all. So we'll just kick off with the sewing tutorial immediately. Now starting with the back, I'll use the facing to turn the neckline like so. Same thing with the front. This is my front here. I'll also turn my front neckline with my facing like that, right? So let me just do that, and I'll show us what I've done so far. So good. Yeah, so here it is here. This is my front, and I've turned it with my facing, and I've already ironed the neckline. Then I also iron the center front so that we can see the center front fold. It will help us in placing the facing. Now for my facing also is on fold, and I also iron it so that the fold will guide us. Okay, so I'll place the fold on the facing, on the fold on the main dress itself. So I'll place it like this, and then you have to pin. Okay, so I've already pinned the facing on the dress. Okay, so next thing, I'm going to mark ½ inch on both sides of the fold. Like I said, I've already pinned it down. This is ½ inch on both sides of my fold here, like that. Then I use a long ruler to link. Okay, so now we'll mark where I want the slit to stop. Okay, so I'm doing it 19 inches. That's like 2 inches below my normal half length. Okay, so I use my long ruler to link that 19 inches point to the hemline with my chalk, so that when I want to start sewing, I can see what I'm sewing. I'm not just guessing. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and sew from the hemline, from here all the way to the point where I want the slit to stop, make a U-turn and sew it all the way down. It's a very simple tutorial. So I'm done doing that. Now I'm going to open up my slit after sewing. I'll open up my slit after sewing. Now if you want to use lining to do this, it's the same thing. Just turn the neckline of the dress, okay? Mark where you want the slit to stop like this. Make the use sew like I've done now, then you open up. It's very, very simple. Okay, so I'm just notching carefully. Then of course you want to take out the pins. You want to take out the pins like so, and then we'll flip over the facing to the right side now. Okay, so then you have to do a roll them there. Okay, now I want to flip over, and then to make the facing stable, you still need to do a top stitch. Okay, I'll show you how to do that, but this is how you're gonna flip it over to the right side like this. Can you see that? Like this. Okay, I still have one more pin there. I still have one more pin hanging there. Yeah, so you flip it over to the right side, sorry, to the wrong side, and then you give it a very good press. But before you do that, you want to top stitch your seam allowance to the facing. So you flip over the seam allowance to the facing, you flip it over like so, and then you stitch it down on the facing. Then later you want to do like a tacking to tack the facing onto the main dress using your needle and thread. Okay, so now I've joined my two back pieces here. This is it here. This is the opening for my zipper, and then I want to place the front piece on the back piece, and I'll just go ahead and join on the shoulder tip. Okay, I'm trying to arrange it properly. So while sewing, you want to just pin this down, and like I said, you will need to do a bit of tacking at the edge of the facing here, and you want to tack in such a way that your sewing is not showing on the right side of the dress. Okay, so yeah, you will need to do tacking. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and join the two shoulders together, front and back together. Okay, then of course I have my basic sleeve here. I will drop the link in the description box on my previous tutorial on how to cut a basic sleeve. Okay, so after joining the shoulder, I'll go ahead and attach my sleeve like I said. This is the sleeve here, so I will attach it to the dress. So I'll do that and I'll show us what I've done so far. So this is it here. I've attached my sleeve to both sides of the dress. I'll just sew 1 inch all the way down. Okay, then I'll also do a roll then for the hemline. I'll attach my zipper and I'll show us the outcome of the dress. It's a very simple tutorial, like I said. Yeah, this is the outcome here. Now some of you might want to ask that the dress has a pocket. Yes, it does, but I've done a previous tutorial on how to fix inseam pockets. I will drop the link in the description box. Yeah, so I hope we learned something from this tutorial. Kindly give it a thumbs up, leave your comment and reactions, and do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends. Have a nice day.